Hello, everybody. I'm just getting everything all set up. So just give me a hot second and we will be rocking and rolling shortly. Let's see. If you are stopping by, drop a quick comment just to say hello. I'm hoping that my Facebook on my iPad is kind to me today. It looks like it could be, so that'll be nice. I think we're good. Actually, my setup looks decent. Shouldn't have to make too many modifications. Sorry about my dirty rag over in the corner. We'll get that moved out. All right. I hope everyone is having a fantastic Saturday. Let me tell you, I was first in line on the welcome wagon for the weekend because it has been a doozy of a week. I have done close to zero crafting, I think, all week long, which is not always a fun thing to say. But that just means today has been lots of crafting. I've been doing lots of coloring. This is going to be the 9th image I will have colored up for today. So I think that's fantastic. Hello, Patsy. And I know I missed another comment. So hello, Kristen. Hope you're having a wonderful day, both of you. And I'm also sitting here. So a little bit of insight. I call it my studio. When me and my husband moved into a new home back in 2020, and there is a den in our home, which we share. He has a desk in here, but he has been so kind to give me over half of the den, and I call it my craft studio. So in my craft studio, I look out to our backyard, which is nice when the weather is nice. Like it is kind of today, but the scene is not super great because I have very long grass and I cut it myself and I'm not looking forward to it. And it's just been a lot of rain, so let's distract ourselves. So, all right, for today's Facebook Live, we are doing something mermazing. So if you're not familiar with, a lot of crafters participate in just like the celebration of the month of May, creating stuff with mermaids. And of course, Kindred Stamps has fantastic mermaid products. So I wanted to use a stamp set that I have not created with yet, and that's the Make Wave stamp set. Sort of a reboot of sorts of the Ocean Royalty stamp set that came out. Gosh, Ocean Royalty, I think, came out back in 2019. So this came out last summer, so 2023. So this set is about a year old or so at the moment, but the original based off of set is like 5 years old now, which is crazy to think about. So we're going to color up the image from this set, which is this lovely sea siren. She's a mermaid, of course. We're going to color her up, and I think today is what Justin calls an ambitious Facebook Live, because I have come up with an idea for a scene card that I would like to create with y'all and share some fun tips and tricks. So let's get into a little bit of coloring. Let's see, zoom in just a tad. All right, we're going to zoom in a little closer to our mermaid and get into some coloring. So she, of course, has a darker skin complexion, and we do want to make sure that we are staying true to character. So I am going to, actually, this is not how I start with this image. We are going to start with E21. And E21 is going to be the lightest skin tone that I'm going to use for this beauty. So we're going to color her up. Now, if you have any questions or anything, drop a comment. I will get to it as soon as I can. I like to take breaks throughout my Facebook Live in order to address any questions. So I'm probably going to color up all of her skin, talk through that. And then if you have any comments or questions, I will check after that. So I'm going to put down a base layer. This is not something that I commonly do. Oh my gosh. That is a frequent habit of mine when using my Copic markers. I tend to just dive right into coloring, but because I do always color up my images twice, I do usually get this nice blend going, and I can kind of skip the base layer. But this is a common tactic of a lot of colorists out there, is that when you are working with your Copics or any alcohol marker, you do want to provide a base layer of sorts. And what this does is it does wet your paper, and it allows your ink to move a little bit more freely and blend nicely when you're creating, or coloring rather. So we're gonna do this, I'm gonna have to pull some new markers in because I'm realizing I kind of practiced in advance. I'll show you guys. I kind of practiced with this image in advance and wanted to see where my colors were going to go. And this is going to be about the skin tone that we're going to get, but I'm going to play a little bit with her tail. I'm going to add some darker bits into it. So that's kind of the direction we're going in. But I think she is going to take us a little bit of time to color up because she has a lot of detail going on. So she has a skin complexion that I try to take care with to represent properly. So we're going in with some EO4. Her hair is also a little bit of I think a more unique color when it comes to creating. Her hair is, I don't know if I want to use the term auburn, but this retelling of the original story, the hair has become a little bit more orange than it was in the past. And I can do ginger hair, but her hair is also like not ginger at the same time. It's still red. It's somewhere between red and orange, but also with some brown in there. It's a very interesting color that I'm not the most familiar with, so we're going to take some time on that as well. Color in above her seashells. I'm sorry about my dog. I've got my other dog outside right now doing God knows what. So I may have to get up at some point just to quickly check on her and see if she wants to come inside. Next, we're going to do some E11. I don't love letting my dogs outside when I'm doing a live, but she has been eagerly watching the door for the better part of an hour. And usually my dogs are on a good going outside schedule that they go outside at least 3 times a day. The schedule is always kind of when we wake up in the morning, when we get home from work, and then we let them out before bed. But they like to take advantage of days where we're not at work, and particularly my little girl, Winnie, she likes to be outside as much as possible. So if we're home, she will try and get us to let her out early, and she'll usually go outside at least 4 times, sometimes even 5 times in a day if one of us is home from work. Next, we're going to go in with some E23, and she's pretty easy when it comes to being outside. She usually grazes for, the better part of the time being outside, and sometimes that means she comes in and she's a little muddy. But she also, actually, I see her out of the corner of my eye, she loves to just kind of sun herself. And we got some 65-degree sunny weather today, so it's not too cold. Put her outside with a little bit of water. And since I'm in my den and I can see her, I'm like, okay, I'll keep tabs on her. And I'm sure the Kindred family will not mind if I've got to quickly just hop over to let her in. Unless she's all muddy. Oh, then that's going to be a little bit of a stinker. All right. And then we're going to finish off the skin blend for the first time with E21. We are going to repeat the skin blend so we can get a really good blend and saturation going on. I like to play around with darker skin tones because I always feel like there is a way that I can better represent a character, and I want to make sure I'm doing so properly. This skin tone, when I colored it with, I initially just did my base layer and then colored it one time. I thought it was a little on the lighter side, and I had seen this combination, I forget, I want to say maybe Amy Young on Instagram. I think her Instagram handle is like Amy Young Forever. She just did a mermaid coloring reel the other day on Instagram, and she used, I think, all these colors. I'm going off of memory. But I want to say she only colored up once. In her style, it lended perfectly for that. For my style, though, I like to have my images be a little darker. So I wanted to do a second time, do my coloring up twice, like I always instruct with y'all. So speaking of instruct, part of my coloring up for today has been an upcoming Kindred Stamps instructional video of sorts. So stay tuned. And I know I'm just kind of talking through this and not checking comments. So I hope y'all like my commentary. I'm not trying to ignore anybody. I just wanted to make sure to get the skin done first. And after the skin is done, then we can focus on, I'll check some messages. But I love this stamp set a lot. The fandom this is based off of, this specific image, this rendition of this character, I think was my favorite thing that I saw last year. I was talking about that a couple weeks ago with my husband about like, okay, 2023 favorite movies. And this is very much so in my top maybe 5 spots, but there's a couple real good ones that came out last year, but for whatever reason, I really enjoyed this, which may be a controversial opinion. I know that reboots are not a favorite thing amongst some people, and I understand everyone's got their preferences and everyone likes the classics, but I never think that it's going to be better than the original, you know? What I always try to go in with any sort of sequel or reboots to some of my favorite fandoms is I like to think about, you know what? I love what this is based off of. I love it so much, and I am not going into this expecting to be wowed, expecting to be dazzled, expecting this to be nominated for Best Film at the Oscars. But what I am going to do is just realize that I used the wrong marker, and now I need to go in with another one, repeat my process because I'm chatting too much. But what I do is I appreciate the fact that something I love so much and other people love so much are getting another opportunity to see this in a new way on our television or movie screens. Because I think that's something enough to celebrate. Like, let's celebrate these characters coming across our screen with maybe a new story or a new twist because they're loved so much. And it doesn't have to be as great as the original. It doesn't. I think not often that it is. We're going to go and we're going to add some blush right now, starting with some R35. But for this one, I liked the changes. I'm always game to see a reboot or a sequel to one of my all-time favorites. There was a movie, there was a movie a couple of years ago. If you know me, you probably would. I'm trying not to be directly saying anything. But back in 2022, there was a movie that came out, and it was a long awaited sequel. The original came out in the 90s, something a little spellbinding. And I don't think the sequel was nearly as good as the original, but to be quite honest with you, I don't think anything ever will. But I was so excited that a core group of cast members decided to return, most of which have maintained and grown their fame. And they love these characters so much, and the public loves these characters so much, that they got to grace our television screens once again. And I loved it. I loved the experience. I planned out a whole night for when I was able to watch it, of what I wanted from that evening, and it was pretty darn close to perfect. So that's my 2 cents when it comes to any sort of film franchise reboot, anything like that. Just enjoy it. I mean, I know sometimes that things come back, and they come back with a lot of content, and it's not just one movie. Sometimes it's a whole new trilogy or multiple seasons of a television show, and it's okay to step off when you feel like it's just not for you anymore. But that doesn't mean we need to sit there and critique it, you know? All right, skin done. Let's see where we're at. I think let's go in. I'm gonna refresh this. Sorry, y'all. Let's see. All right, perfect. All right, hello everybody. And I'm just checking in right now. She's showing up a little dark on the screen. She is not that dark in person, I promise. So I apologize. Maybe my screen just needs to be, my brightness needs to be increased a little bit. that helps a little. Okay, let's also do her lips. So we're gonna go in and start with some RV34. Actually, I'm gonna go in with some EO4 first. So I want these to be a little darker. Let me go back and correct this. We're gonna do some EO4. I'm trying to keep her lips kind of like, I almost want to call it like a natural plum color of sorts, or a natural like dark hibiscus of sorts. So we're going, that's the RV34, and then we're gonna do a little bit of RV32. Awesome. Let's go in and correct that. Yeah, my screen is not being very nice to me today. I told y'all before that I've had some issues when it comes to my iPad, or specifically my Facebook app, not really keeping up with me during a live. So I will keep checking in. I don't know why I have these problems, but here we are. I'm trying to, you know what? Let's grab my laptop. I can use that. And that way I should be able to keep up with y'all, at least the comment portion. Oh, I feel like I need a better setup when it comes to my crafting for lives. I just feel like it's not as simple as it used to be, y'all. All right, let's see. Grab my laptop. Don't have that much battery, so we may be flying solo at some point. That's okay. Sorry about the delay. All right. And we're going to turn the sound off. There we go. All right. I just want to see y'all's comments. As long as everything is going okay, that's all I care about. Sorry, let's get into it. So, do a little bit with her teeth. Do a little bit of C4. A little bit of C2. And then finish off with C00. Just to give a little bit of shading. All right. Now let's move on to her hair. And I have a whole combination of colors. We're going to start with E18. Now, her hair, I do want to be upfront. Her hair does definitely have some dreads going on, or braids of sorts. And I apologize if I'm using the wrong term. Based off of the way that her hair lines go, I feel like I would make her hair worse if I was to color her up like I normally would a character who has braids. Usually I like to see the individual strands of the braids, and I don't have that with her. So I am going to very carefully color up her hair. So I'm not trying to be insensitive at all. I would color up the braids the way that I normally would, but I feel like it would end up doing more of a disservice if I colored them up how I normally would. So we're just going to kind of go in like this. This is E18. Oh, thank you so much, Patsy. The skin, I wish it showed up better on my screen. It's showing up a little darker than it looks. So I'm hoping that when I photograph it, y'all see what I mean about it looking different. I'm going to have to come up, though, with y'all something different for making sure that that I'm seeing everybody's comments come in, because this has not been, I tell you, technology changes. And it used to be Facebook Lives would be so easy. We're going to go in with some R37 to try and capture some of the redness with her hair. Normally, though, I will tell you, if you are coloring up braids, it's kind of like a tick mark process, like tick, 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 like tally marks. And you color inside each individual depicted braid. I'm not doing that today, obviously, but that's normally what I would do. All right. Now we're going to go in and we're going to start capturing some of that orangey red color I was talking about. So we're going to do some R08. And this is going to start to orangen up her hair a little bit. All right, so just kind of going in. And then let's do next color is R05. I do really love, I do love this skin. I know I was saying like it's something I'm not familiar with, which it really is. I don't know another character yet that I would use this hair tone on, this color or combination of colors, but I do think it's really pretty. And I know it suits this character very well. It's almost like a coral hair color of sorts, you know? All right. So we're going in, da, 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 da. Kind of all colored up. She is stunning. I think she is just... I'm going to say the term perfectly cast. All right, R05. I'm going to go in. I'm going to start adding some more strands in. And then, let's see, R08. My recommendation, I do color my hair up as well. I always start my hair from dark to light. And what I've noticed is when I go from dark to light, my individual strands sort of start to get blended up together. And they lose their definition. So when I go in a second time, I kind of add them back in. And then my second time, I go from light to dark because then it doesn't blend them out. So I think it's a good way to make sure you're getting all the detail you want. Though I am seeing a handful of spots that I've colored outside the line will need to go in and correct, but that's okay. We make mistakes, and I'll give you some tips how to correct them. All right, now we're gonna finish up with some E18. It's so interesting too, because I'm looking at the colors right now, and so far we have used all warmer, earthier tones, and reds, and oranges, and corals, and all I have left in my marker canister are cool tones, and like honestly they're like mermaid tones. So it's going to be really cool to see how the rest of these colors play with our character. I actually might go in and add a little bit more red to blend out some of those darker strokes that I just created. Let's see, let's go in with some R08, just because I've been a little too extra with my E18. Just kind of blend it out. Awesome. Perfect. So we've got her hair all ready to go. Now we can focus on the fun part, which is her mermaid tail and her little seashells. And oh, I love it. I love this girl. So let's go in. We're going to do some BG13, and we're going to put the BG13 on the top over here. Joke. Sorry, guys. Sorry, everybody. I'm going to just kind of do a line down here. Her tail's going to be a little different than what I'm used to. Let's see. Let's make sure. Let's do some BG32. If anyone has any questions, just be sure to let me know. I'm just having a difficult time keeping up with comments. All right, and then we're going to go in. Let's do some BG09. We're going to do that on the outside. I'm just going to kind of get a fun little ombre of colors going. And do some BG05. And some BG02. And we're going to go back in with our BG32. Just kind of blend it all out. We're going to go in twice, don't worry. Maybe even pulling a little bit of purple for her seashells. So let's go in. I'm going to do a little bit of V17 in the bottom over here. And then we're going to go in. Let's repeat the colors. We're going to do some BG13. And make a line right down the center. Put that up top. And then do some BG32. Like that. Then we're going to do BG09. Just like that. I'm not going to do that on her little seashell area. We'll do some BG05. And then BG02. And then I'm going to go in with some BG32. Sort of blend that all up. Blend this together. All right. So pretty. Love how that's turning out. All right. All right, let's do, how did I do the back of her tail? All right. Let's just check comments. I think we're good. Double check. Oh, you guys are so sweet. Thank you so much for all the kind comments. If you have any questions, just let me know. All right. And let's do, so for the back of her tail, we're going to carry with this BG09. And do that on the inside part of the tail. and then do BG05. But then I want to start incorporating a little bit of purple. So we're going to do some V15. And do it on the opposite ends. And then V12. Because I'm doing the purple second, the purple kind of overtakes the blue-green a little bit. It becomes, in my opinion, kind of the dominant color of sorts. So, I'm gonna carry that up. That's pretty. All right, just carry a little bit of purple up like that. All right, let's go back and repeat. So we're gonna do BG09. We're going to do BG05. We're going to do V15. And then some V12, sorry. Perfect. We'll do a little bit of a V12 for the ring. Sorry about the barking. All right. So we've got that all situated for the most part. I'm going to go in. Let's go in with some BG09, and I'm going to add some spots, some like scales of sorts. And this is a little detail that, in my opinion, is really going to make things pop for her. Let's also go in. I've got some V17. Go in. And some spots, some scales. And then let's do a little bit of BG05. Kind of making it a little lighter as we're getting closer to the center of her tail. Wonderful. All right. Let's go do a little bit of gel pen accents, and that would require the use of a gel pen. There it is. Let's go in. Just like that. Let's also clean up some of her edges. All right. She might be a little tricky to cut out, but we'll figure it out. We always do, don't we? All right. So I've got her all colored up. I think she looks fantastic. At least I hope you guys think so too. Okay, let's just double check. All right. We are good. All right, we're all up to date on comments. Let's do a little bit of fussy cutting. So we're going to cut her out. I'm going to leave a little bit of a white border, and then we're going to go dive in, and we're going to make a background for her. And I always kind of shy away from scene cards when we do a Facebook Live. And the reason for that is it's time consuming. There's a lot of different elements going on, and I've thought about like, well, just prepare things in advance, which is great and all, but then doesn't necessarily help you guys if I show something like, oh, look at this background that I blended up. And you're like, well, how did you do it? And it's like, well, I guess I didn't show you. So this live is going to be a little on the ambitious side. We're going to tackle a little bit of scene building. When I say a little, I mean, we're making a 4" by 5 1/4" panel that is an underwater scene for her. And we're going to do I have so many inks that I pulled out that I want to use. So stay tuned. We're also going to say goodbye in a second to my Kindred Stamps glass mat. Reason being for that is I need a little bit more real estate to work with. She is stunning. I love her. I actually think the skin tone turned out really nicely as well. I had my hesitations with it because I feel like I use more colors for skin tone typically. And this was just like a 4-color blend aside from her blush and whatnot. So I was like, oh great, this isn't going to turn out as detailed as I like, but when you're blending and working with darker colors, I find that it's important to maintain a way to still get those highlight areas. And sometimes with darker skin tones, that can be hard because you want to be true to the character and you don't want to turn their skin tone into a tone that it's not. But you still want to make sure that they don't look like that they're not blended out properly, that they don't have any highlights. So that can be kind of a tricky area, and I think that this blend did a really nice job of her highlights, which I feel like y'all can't see very well in the video. And I'm sorry about that, but from a crafting point of view with it, from me being in the room with the image, I think it looks pretty good. So I hope y'all think so. So we're just gonna carefully cut this out. Awesome. I almost, and I didn't, and I have to think about how to do this in the future. She is in the perfect position. There is a moment where this character is like on a rock and a wave crashes behind her. And some of us may call it like iconic. I think you could use this image for that scene. And I thought about doing it today. And I don't necessarily know if I have the resources to complete that during the live. But it's an idea. All right, so we've got her all cut out. Let's go ahead, throw that away, set her off to the side. And let's work with our background. So I'm going to say goodbye for the time being to our glass Kindred matte. And I am going to pull out, it's a paper inking palette. This is by Picket Fence Studio. I believe I brought this in for my last Facebook Live. And somebody recommended cleaning it with Dawn dish soap. Guess what? I did it. And it does definitely feel more sticky. So thank you, thank you. This is the Ocean Sea Building die cut. But this is actually 2 die cuts that's going on right now. I went ahead and die cut the Card Basics die. This is the long edge, you can see the stitching. And then I went in with the Ocean Scene Building die. And I went ahead and die cut it out because it's gonna help with my card panel. So what I would like to do is build up this ocean floor. And we're gonna start, guys, I need to clean up these markers first. That's what I really need to do. I'm gonna put my markers away because that'll save me some room. And then, okay, we're there. Now we're gonna start with some brushed corduroy to help with our ocean floor. And this is Distress Oxide ink, and I'm just gonna kind of go in and blend it up. Just like this. Kind of getting closer towards the top of those little seafloor foliage pieces. Go up there a little bit. Perfect. And I wanted to create kind of like a sandy sea bottom. And then I'm going to go in with some Vintage Photo Distress Oxide ink, which is a little darker. And still distress the bottom. Just going to darken it up a little bit. Perfect. Okay. Now I want to color up each of these little pieces. They could be sticking a little bit better than they are right now, but I digress. I did make a little bit of a mask of sorts, and I don't know how it's going to work. Actually, not badly. We'll take that. Okay. So I'm going to go in, use that as a mask, and then I'm going to color up each of these images. So let's go in. I want to do you, and I want to do you. So I'm gonna go in with some Twisted Citron and Mowed Lawn. But I have to also keep my workspace clean. So we are going to make sure everything is being put away as we are grabbing it to an extent. There's my tools, there's my tools. So, okay, so I'm just trying to be organized. This is like mise en place, but in the craft room, not the kitchen. All right, so we're gonna go in with some Twisted Citron and ink up both of our little seaweed pieces. Like that. And then I think I'm actually going to pull in a blending brush of Mowed Lawn. I know, I'm using various ink blending tools, and it's really just so I have a good amount of control while doing my blending. So I'm using the foam dome blending tools on the larger areas. On the smaller areas, I'm using a blending brush. All right. Let's see those. Pull. See now, because it's like sticky on sticky. Lord, Justin, you don't think things through sometimes, do you? It's okay. Get there. Okay. So let's go ahead. I'm going to mask this off. Push that down. I'm just trying to mask things off as we're... Oh, there's another area. Shoot. I didn't realize there was another little seaweed piece. Oh, mother of pearl. All right, so we're just going to go in really quickly. That one's actually easy. So we're just going to go like that. And then da-da-da-da. All right, and then we're going to... Where's my tool? I think I also brushed it off on accident. Okay, so we're gonna go in with some Mowed Lawn. Oh, Justin. Sometimes y'all. Oh, okay, we're good. So now, oh, but you know what though, realistically, I could just move this slightly. Like that, and then ink blend those. So we're getting there. Just a little bit of masking, but we're getting there. All right, this I want to make orange. So let's go in with some carved pumpkin. Just like that. And then I'm going to go in with some ripe persimmon. Use another blending tool. And that ripe persimmon is like a nice, deep, corally orange. Awesome. Just like that. Realistically, once I do those, these are done. Okay, and then let's do over here, let's do pink. We're going to do some pink ink blending. So over here, let's do picked raspberry and Kitsch Flamingo. We'll start with Kitsch Flamingo. That's done. Go in with some picked raspberry on the bottom. Like that. All right. Let's see. So now I think I just have one piece left. God, I hope so. Or am I done? Watch you done, Justin. Nope, there's one more. Okay, that's what I thought. So let's go in. I want to make that one purple. I'm just kind of moving my tape around so it fits as needed. Let's clean up my tools, keeping all my stuff in place best as I can, right? We're trying here, we're trying. Sometimes not very successfully, but we do try. All right, let's grab Shaded Lilac and Wilted Violet. Just like that. Perfect. And then we're going to go in with a little bit of purple. There we go. We do have a purple brush. I worried for a second. Just kind of blend it up. Make it nice and pretty. Like that. And then let's see, maybe I'll do a little bit of that wilted or the shaded lilac to blend it back in. That looks lovely, y'all. All right. Let's see what we got. Super pretty. Not quite done yet, but we are getting there. I'm going to get rid of all of this. And then we're going to do another mask of sorts. No, Alyssa, you're fine. It's called a paper inking palette. This one is by Picket Fence Studios. But there's some other types of product like that on the market. So I'm just going in. I know this is a lot of tape, but I wanted to mask off my colored portions because I'm going to do a little bit of splattering, which is something I like to do when working with sand as one of my surfaces. So I'm just going to kind of go in, mask it off. I have a lot of this mint tape, y'all, so might as well use it, right? All right, so we're gonna go in, and then I am gonna go ahead and take some black soot, oxide ink, wet it down. Let's see. And this is, like I said, this is black soot oxide. That. Awesome. Just kind of clean this a little bit. And I have one last thing to do. I like using oxides for splattering because I feel like they dry quickly. Oh, I see my dog out in the lawn rolling around, looking at me like, huh. Oh, she's gonna need a bath. Oh well. I'm not worried about it. Okay, next I am bringing in, this is called a luster brush marker from scrapbook.com. And it's basically, it has like an opaque white paint of sorts in it. So I like to just kind of pick it up. And splatter. Like that, just to add a little bit of white detail too, because I feel like sand has both black and white specks in it. All right, so let's go in. Let's pull all of our tape up. And I'm going to use my craft tweezers to carefully pull this up and set it aside to dry. But isn't this pretty? Not too much time to do it. A little bit more than like not needing to do the masking and whatnot, but I think it's pretty. So we're going to set that aside. Let's do a little bit of cleanup with the mat too. And hello, Maricruz, and hello, Karen. And thank you so much, Carrie. I appreciate the compliment, always and always. All right, so we can't have an ocean floor without like a blue ocean background. So let's create that. And that is probably, no, I think it's just a lot of elements today that's making this live ambitious. But, I haven't even been live though for an hour, so we're doing good in my opinion. All right, so what we're gonna do, let me grab the next part. I want to ink up this background. And this background, this is Distress Heavy Cardstock. Smooth, good for ink blending. I'm going to make an ocean floor of sorts. So, like the ocean background. And I'm going to start, let's do with some salvage patina first. Now I've got my dog waiting to be let in. She's going to smell. Oh, Lord, this thing. This creature. All right. Oh, and I'm going to need a new blending brush for that, but that's okay. All right, next we're going to do some Mermaid Lagoon. Well, you know what? Zoom out a little bit. Yeah, that's good. We're going to do some Mermaid Lagoon for our next color. So we started with Salvage Patina. Now we're doing Mermaid Lagoon, probably like the most perfect color for this. This, and I probably should have incorporated Abandoned Coral, but I didn't. But I also am using another color in a minute. You'll see in a little bit. And it's also a very like apropos color to use. All right, I'm gonna grab a new foam blender for my Salvage Patina. And we're just gonna blend it in. All right, then we are going to finish this off with some Uncharted Mariner, also a very appropriate color. And so let's tilt that. Do I have, oh, I don't have a block? Huh. Let's see, I have a ruler though that I could use as like a protector. I'm just gonna lay that down. I'm not gonna overcompensate and do too much of this Uncharted Mariner because it's very dark. And I'd rather have more of the Mermaid Lagoon color, so I'm gonna use that as like the next one to blend the colors together. So let's go back in with that Mermaid Lagoon. And then, you know what, I'm gonna grab a bit more Mermaid Lagoon ink. Just kind of blend it together. All right, we're getting there. Now, it's not the smoothest of blend. I'm not using the paper that I get the smoothest blend with, so that's okay. But we're gonna work with this. So I feel like I could do a little better though with the Salvage Patina. Let's try that. I just want to fix that blend. So we're gonna go in with the Salvage Patina. I'm just kind of blend it in a little better. Awesome. All right. So we're getting there. Not done yet though. We've still got more to do. And I'm gonna put my blending tools all away because I think I'm kind of done with them. I want to do a little bit of water. Just to kind of splatter. I'd also like to zoom out a little bit better. Hold on. Oh no, I flipped the screen. Hold on, we'll get there. Oh, it reset though, that's fine. That's better, okay. So I've got my background almost set. But you know how like sometimes you're working with like underwater scenes and like there's rays of light coming in? I thought it'd be kind of fun to incorporate that. So I want to dry this off. Now I don't have a stencil with Kindred that does this, so it always gets my mind sort of turning as to what can we do to make what I want without having what I want. So I'm drying it up as best as I can. And it's going to be really pretty too, because we're not there yet, but I mean, that's going to be a really pretty ocean floor. So I love that. But I want to make some of those rays of light. And I thought of if I use some Gina K masking magic strips. That's my thought. So I think, what sizes does this come in? No, that one's too small. I think I want to do the 1/2-inch strips. Is that what I want to use? I think I do. So I'm going to go ahead. Let's get this put into place. I want that to be like right in the center. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put this into place in the center. And I'm gonna use kind of like this as my guide. And then we're gonna go in and we're gonna do that. And I'm gonna kind of use that anchor on top as like my ending sort of ray point. So like that. All right. And then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do it once again. I'm going to do it like that. And trying to match it up the best that I can. Like that. All right. And I'm done with that sheet. So that's 1/2-inch Gina K Masking Magic. And what I'm going to do is, I think I'm trying to figure out what ink I want to use. Because I don't use this often. I'm going to use, I'm going to use this Ink on 3 Atelier ink in white. And I'm going to use a nice big brush. I'm just going to go in and sort of blend. Just like that. And I'm hopeful for what our final result is going to be. Okay. Just a little more. I think this is it. All right. I think that's what I want. Let's make sure. So let's go in and start peeling back. You know what? I do them all at once. That's pretty. I like that. All right, so here you go. So here we have like that pretty sort of sunray underwater sort of look. I think that's really pretty. Okay. And that's just by using those masking magic strips. Oh, I love it. Okay, let's clean this off. We're getting there. We are getting there. So basically, it's going to look like this. We're going to adhere that to the bottom. And then we're going to put our image. We still have to work on our sentiment, but we are in the end stages, y'all. Thank you, Patsy. I think it is really cool. And it's like, this is just, what is this? This is a fusion ink. It's ink on 3. I think it's called what? Shark Tooth White. So it sits nicely on top of paper. It's probably going to stay wet for a little bit, so I probably have to be careful to not joke. you're going to have to wait until I'm done, and then I'll let you outside with your sister, okay? These kids, I tell you, man. All right. So let's do our sentiment. And then I think that's like the last thing. And then we just have to kind of assemble. So I'm going to grab my Misty. And I've got my Misty, and it's got my another sticky mat in there. And I want to grab our stamp set. And I want to grab some purple paper because I think that we don't have enough purple. And put that in here. Perfect. So y'all can see. I should move this so you can see better. Okay. So we're going to go in and we're going to use the sentiment to be a mermaid and make waves. I like have a splashy birthday. I always, let's be honest, I always kind of go towards picking the sentiment that has to do about birthdays because we can't have enough birthday cards in our stash. But for today, well, that doesn't help me. I'll figure it out. Okay, so anyways, I've got my embossing tool. And then we're going to go in. I've got my Kindred Stamps embossing ink pad. I'm going to push that down. This sentiment should emboss nicely because it's chunkier letters, so I'm hopeful for that. All right, so it says, be a mermaid and make waves. Let's pull it up, set this off to the side. I need a piece of paper just to kind of catch this. This is the Snowfall White embossing powder. Awesome. No, Duke. I'll let you out in a second, sir. All right. Now we'll use our heat gun. We'll set our sentiment into place. Oh, thank you so much, Mayor Cruz. Now we're going to just kind of wave it off so that it gets nice and dry. So I'm not going to accidentally smear any of my nice embossing powder. All right, and then let's go in and we'll fussy cut it out. The chunkier sentiments are also the easier ones to fussy cut out. Oh no, did that not? Hold on, I might have to do a little more. There was one little area that didn't get fully set yet, so whoops. All right. All right, there we go. Be a mermaid and make waves. And then I wanted to make it a little darker, so I have the very, very last color. I'm going to be using some Villainous Potion Distress ink. This is not oxide ink, this is Distress ink. So it's a little darker. I wanted to go in. Just darken that up a little bit. Perfect. Just like that. You just go in and wipe off the excess using an emboss resist technique. All right. Perfect. Be a mermaid and make waves. Y'all, we are ready to start putting everything together. So let me put this off to the side. Okay, so I have one last piece of paper that has to get cut. And I'm going to take a piece of rainbow glitter paper in this sort of aqua color, and I just want to trim it down ever so slightly. It is currently A2 sized. I would like to make it 1/8 of an inch shorter on each end. So so we're gonna take our tweezers and we're gonna take Misty Precision Glue Press. Duke, I'm almost done, buddy. Just put new glue in my glue press too. So it's like extra gluey. All right, so we're just gonna go in. This should line up perfectly along the bottom. Sorry. Not everybody wants to hear you whine. That is not my Winnie, that is my Duke that is whining right now. He is my 101-pound pit bull that likes to act like a child. But he's my child, so it's all good. Yeah, I know, bud. We're getting there. All right, so we're going to, I think I'm gonna use some double-sided tape on the back of this. No, we're gonna use liquid glue. Yeah, we're gonna use liquid glue. That way, liquid glue at least is forgiving, so it'll give me a second to push things into place. Okay. Kind of nudge it, give it a nice little frame. Just like that. All right. And then let me grab my A2 size card base and we can adhere that. Oh, so Morphle, he is such a baby, Patsy. That's his thing. He just likes to whine when he doesn't get his way. I know, buddy. I know. Oh, no. All right, so we've got that. I would like to have my big block holding that down. There we go. Now let's work on our sentiment. Let's see, we have her. this go? I want this together. I think I want them as like one unit. Just like that. Okay. So I'm going to go in, let's add a little bit of glue to her. Just like that. Just kind of, Mr. Sir, Mr. Sir. All right. Let's see. Grab some more tape. All right, we are getting there. It's Duke's world. We just live in it. Oh, thanks so much, Patsy. You're so sweet. All right, we are almost there. All right. Duke, you'll be outside in like 2 minutes, sir. Yeah, 2 minutes. All right. Be a mermaid and make waves. And I want to do a couple enamel dots, and then I think we're going to call it. So let me grab those. There they are. So I just kind of want to add some of these in. Uh-huh. Let's see. Let's see what else. And then one more. Let's see, let's do. And I think we're good. All right, y'all. Do we need maybe one more? Maybe just one more? And like that. Okay. There we go. Okay, we are done. Thank y'all for your patience as I put all of those little bits and bobs into place. So we used the Make Wave stamp set to create this fun little ocean floor scene card today. We also used the ocean scene craft die to craft up the little bottom of the ocean floor. We did some really fun ink blending methods as well that I think are really going to help amp up different sort of techniques that you can do if you don't have a stencil handy. So lots and lots of ink colors used, a handful of Copic markers, but I love this end result. I think this is a beautiful card. I love this image. I think it colors up so nicely. I know that this is still in stock currently. Y'all know that when I do a Facebook Live, I try to make sure that anything that I'm doing, I'm almost done, sir. Anything I use is in stock. So thank you all so very much for stopping by today. I will be back later this month with another Facebook Live, of course, with more inspiration. If you have any questions, just just tag me in the group, comment on this video. I'm going to upload this to my blog and my YouTube channel probably by tomorrow. But yeah, thank you all so very much. I'm going to go take care of a whiny dog who would like to go outside. And I'll see y'all soon. Have a great rest of your day and a happy weekend. Goodbye.